Welcome back to the German Reich. I mean Reich. German Reich, yes. Of fellow armchair generals, this is Gamer1745 here with my reaching deeper into the Soviet Union. So we are pushing there. They're counterattacking here. Let's see what we have here. Slovak Regiment. Okay, well. Let's see. Okay, we got those guys there. They're sort of getting warmed up for the assault. Let's see. Do we have an yeah, sure. Okay, and yeah, you're coming that way to help with that. Let's head back this way. Head back this way. I might have been saying east, but you head back that way. Yeah. I want to check something out here with the Soviet. Was asked a time ago, though I answered what I thought it was. At that time, now we're at 45% surrender progress. Okay. Anything else to look up with this at the moment? I don't. Relations, right. Now, one thing I am wondering about is, okay, there's their capital. Wondering where their capital was, and this is something that I believe I don't know exactly. Oh, we could use some more. Let's espionage. We could even use some more espionage points. Diplomacy, we have plenty. We're gonna cut this down. The more officers you have, the better things are, even past 100%. Just because the AI doesn't generally keep it below or above 100% black eyes, just because of things, limits at 110. So you can put more effort into it than the AI does. But oh well, actually, let's do this. Yeah, just a little bit down here. We've got plenty of researching of things going on. So what they've done, as my understanding is at some point, because this is quite possible to happen, they've moved the capital even before this is taken out to, where was it again, somewhere here, Omsk, so that all of these units here are not cut off from supply. That means these are cut off from supply, unless they're going to fly supply in. Now we can go, well, where do they have an airbase? Do they have any heavy transports to get from any of these air bases? Probably not, but the AI generally, or never, supplies stuff. I think this is blocked off from the ability to even move, I want to look at naval warfare. We have not had a naval warfare or take out a supply convoy here in a long time, more than a week, obviously. So all of these, you know, they can't get supplies into here. So this is going to eventually run out of supplies if these guys continue to have this happen. Yeah, they're going that way, they're going that way. They're going to run out of supplies. So we're going to try to let these guys, wow, that's a lot of units. I mean, they got lots and lots of aircraft, 126 fighters, 24 fighter bombers, 37 conscript units, 16 NKVD units. So 3 heavy bomber squadrons or groups or whatever, 18 medium, 10 light. So these guys are going to run out of supplies. So the more they keep attacking, not that they shouldn't be breaking out, but or trying to break out. But it's sort of like a where are these guys going? Oh, they're retreating way back into. Who the hell put this in here? Why? Other than getting a unit that drives deep into Africa like that. Don't understand. Okay, it looks like we finally won against this. Spawned. Unit here. Okay, well, let's attack it. Actually, I just want to try to stop them attacking my light armor up there. They're a barely organized unit. Yes, we control the Mediterranean. Okay, you attack there. Okay, the Belgs got a Bergsegallery. I'm messing that up, I know. Sorry, my friends. Counterattack down into there. What province did we lose? Oh, up here. Okay. Well. We're not getting Stalingrad back. Unless there's some big event thingy that plops down a bunch of units. Yeah, attack across that river. These guys are doing it. There. Now, I was thinking the other day about this the Caucasus Front, or South Caucasus Front, shall we say. We have obviously the group that moved in via Iran, and then we have the landings down here. Both, of course, are very ahistorical. The group that comes in via Iran is sort of like, I guess, or we're led to believe, or what they've thought, is Rommel's dream. You know, it's the idea, obviously these aren't exactly Rommel's divisions from the Africa Corps, but the idea of coming and hitting up here with, I'm sure they would have brought in, if they were controlling the Mediterranean well enough, some mountain units, Rommel. Remember, guys, we all think of Rommel in the desert and the Panzers, but in World War I, which was the formative years of his military life, what formed his military outlook. He was a mountain troop guy. Sure, he fought in the Low Countries here, but then it was shifted first down to Romania, and then later to the Italian front to help out the Austrians. So he was very much a mountain warrior. So he understands mountain warfare, understands what needs to be done, and the types of troops and whatnot. So this was sort of his, thought. Let's see if we get a little bit of attack here with these guys. But what are we facing up? Okay. No, we're not going to keep this in. Let's see what they... Organization and supply type wise. Whether this, as well as me with my, shall we call it, Anglo-Saxon background, and I sort of mean that as in naval and whatnot. Obviously, I'm an American, but I have an Anglo-Saxon background. Always thinking in terms of, sea invasions, where the Germans really, and one thing they do very well is organize up railroads. Again, we've talked about the debacle of the Soviet invasion, but they're actually pretty good at railroad transport. So they just see large bodies of water or small bodies of water more as a obstacle than as a highway, where I see them as a highway. I see them as, oh, you know, this is more vulnerable because it has more sea provinces, as opposed to more protected because it has limited land connections. How much could they have done? They did do the real major thing that I'm immediately sort of aware of is actually a more sea evacuation out of the sort of Kretch. No, this is Kretch over here, but whatever. This became sort of a pocket, and they evacuated out to the Crimea. And then they maintained for a while at least control of the Crimea out of sea and air power. And the Soviets always maintained some sea operations here. I don't know how well from shipping that they had from Bulgaria, from Romania, from whatever captured. I don't know. To be able to do invasions, I just quite honestly don't know whether they could have pulled off the invasion that we have down here in the way that we did, you know, in the scale and whatnot. I don't know whether this, because we can look at all of these units here that we have been delaying: light, medium, heavy armor, lots of them, of course. Whether if we had just taken all of these, particularly these armor units and the mountain troops, and plowed through the Ukraine with them, probably a bit quicker coming out of Romania and whatnot, a bit quicker, and pushed into here. Now, the mountain troops hitting these mountains are going to fight pretty well, backed up with some armor, and, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we have here, it's just an armored battalion. About 5 more armored divisions pushing in through here would have made a significant heavier impact than what we did have. So, it's a question in my mind. I don't know that we can easily get an answer to that. Okay, all foresty. We're going to send the mechanized forces back up with these guys. Support to hit there. Okay, you guys come down here. Armored HQs have advanced. Very nice. No, what am I looking at down here? Well, let's flip over into mountain HQs. Mostly right now because I haven't. Well, I did take up some of those, but yeah, probably about time for some of that. The HQs, I really don't need much of those HQs, but Special Forces branch helps 5%. Delay between attacks, total 2 hours, point something probably. I don't know, because each of these are all additive, so we can see that they're very useful still, even if we're not planning on taking their HQ, or their HQs are useful. You can, when I say that, then I need HQ somewhere that's, you know, more than just a simple regular. Right out into the desert, guys. Okay, you're going that way. You go this way. They're going to come down. So you come up to here. Now, of course, mentioning would it have been better to, or equally good, or whatever, to push through with more armor in a concentrated blow. You have two other things to consider. One, a very real military idea coming out of Sun Tzu, so it's very old, is the indirect approach. Obviously, the direct approach is, you know, from Berlin to Moscow. And if you're, since we have victory points up here, Berlin to Leningrad, Berlin to Stalingrad. So that's the direct approach. The indirect approach is, Archangel to Moscow. Why would you take Archangel to Moscow? Well, because you're working under the sort of basic presumption that the Soviets have heavily protected the direct approach, and they put lighter forces, or lighter levels of force, or whatnot, on the indirect approach because it's less likely to happen. Now, of course, if your main Soviet army is sitting in greater Moscow zone, and then ready to attack at whichever direction you're being attacked at, you going for Moscow is, from any direction, is still the direct attack. The way you would indirect attack it would be to attack everywhere but Moscow, leaving Moscow. And I don't mean just the island of the city. I'm talking about, you know, sort of this region. Take away the Baltics, take away the Caucasus, take away the north up here. You know, take away everywhere else, leaving them sort of isolated here, because if you move your primary army away from the center, you can then move in behind it. You know, if they move to defend the Balkans, or the Baltics, sorry, this is the Balkans, of course, the Baltics, you move your Caucasus army north or something, you know. So it sort of pins this army here, not by attacking it, but by and by moving in each of these directions. You need to move substantial elements by it, but you know, if by having them move it away, they then make it vulnerable. That's the indirect approach. The second thing is, because this is a game and not just a dealing in real world or whatever, and we're having an AI dealing with it, you're befuddling the AI. March, countermarch. You saw when we started out here a bunch of units that were down, armored units down here on this border, and they then start moving up to here as this becomes more and more of a serious front. So they're all moving slowly, or whatever you want to say, through these mountains. And then we attack down here, and then they realize, oh shit, we've got our oil, which still hasn't been connected up. So we've been pooling a lot of oil down here that we'll get to someday. So that they see this threat. And so now these units that are getting up here, or just in here, now think, oh, we've got to head back this way here. So you get all these armor units here, armored brigades, I think, mostly, now moving in a different direction. So they have not helped on this front, they've not helped on this front. So you're, instead of not necessarily just defeating more units in combat, you're tying them up because of march and countermarch, because of the AI as well. So you have that sort of a thought. And the Croatians. Oh good, we held out. Major victory, where do we have? One here, is that our major victory? Cool. Or was that here? Yeah, probably. you always sort of have to think about the, not just the battle of contact, you know, the battle that, you know, you're in contact with the enemy and you're shooting him, you're killing him, you're cutting him off in big pockets or something like that, but you have to think about the enemy's how the enemy's going to react to you. I'm just going to see which provinces do we want to try to go through. I'm very unsure how much, well, history has sort of taught me with this that taking these 3 cities isn't necessarily enough, but we've been hitting a fair number of crossing the whatever rivers events, lowering their national unity by a only just 1%, so it isn't very great, but it's still a lowering, a cumulative effect. Okay, you cross the river. So you guys, that just, so we can't, yeah, no. Okay, so everybody just keep marching forward. Take the direct push. Okay, you stop attacking. You know what I was trying to do is save that unit, but don't want to shatter mine either. Take that. You strike into there. Way. You attack into here. And you support this attack. Let's come down this way. Okay. You're moving forward on class, but you're not, so you come in here. Place old Cork HQ. I think that's what it was. Okay, you need to get some more organization, and you can just join this attack. fuel. Okay, you fly fuel to here. Oh, no. Too far. No. Okay, you fly fuel to there. Taking it from Romania. That's why it's so far. Or it can only go so far. Good, another pocket done. Little pockets, but they're done. They're just exhausting themselves. Jaeger division. Good. Okay, you guys have the ability, you have a program plan, you have that. Once you're there, you come up this way. Just trying to maneuver these guys in different paths to keep them from breaking out. He's almost a skill level 6. This thing down. It's naturally slow in that direction. They're now going to fight. Okay, you still haven't stopped defending. There you go, you support that attack. You don't need to go down that way, just support it. You're getting one from there. You need to occupy that province, but you can attack that one. Okay, Italians, yeah, you join in. So you can join into that attack. So can you. And you. Another pocket done. I've definitely watched like initial Barbarossa videos in which someone, you know, drives in a, you know, an advance this way and drives in an advance this way and not attacks anywhere else and pockets all the units. Yeah, it's unrealistic, and yeah, I mean, they did obviously pocket large, very large formations in World War II in Barbarossa, but sort of the absence of advancing in some areas just to create pockets is unrealistic. You're probably going to outstretch your HQ. Here's the Sud, yeah. Let's move you further east. Keep going before we start running out of man distance. But most of my pockets are, most of them, not all, are sort of small affairs. over here. Cutting them off, okay. Counter-attacking. Fine for that. Yes, see, fine. Two divisions gone. Or brigades, or whatever. No, you start heading back this way. Okay, do I have some air power down here. What can I put into this? No, not. There we go. Change your tasking to attack there. Alright, attacking. Where are you? Ground attacking. And we'll change. We'll give you a break. Can't remember which extra. Yeah, okay. Alright, looks like we got a big stack of units here. Move up this way. Keep all these guys off balance. Come up that way. Push up that way, and yeah. Okay, now we have 2 divisions to attack with. You guys take this pocket, okay. Alright. Okay, you're up here, you come this way just in case there's a walking force there. Keep moving. Okay, mountain troops. You head this way. Regular divisions are good too. come back this way. Okay, well, we've made some good progress, I would say. Not huge amounts in this episode, but we've taken out this, and so let's Baltics Rail Network. We can look quickly here. See, infrastructure yellow is mostly yellow and orange here for the railways. And if we come up here, Baltics region, we'll upgrade the railways, and we can again see mostly yellow and orange. Click off of it because you only see it here. Now it's brighter yellow and some green, so it's gotten a bit better. We can move some more supplies through this way, not that we are in desperate need of it yet, but would be good. Okay, and now that's eaten into that, unfortunately. Okay. And we're going to end the episode here. I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for liking the videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And, of course, please post questions, comments, suggestions, tips, ideas. Love hearing from you. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.